Today on Sugar Spun Run, we'll be making Oreo cheesecake bars. Hey Sugar Spun bakers and fellow cheesecake lovers, Sam here, and today I'm sharing one of my favorite, pretty simple cheesecake recipes. This is a recipe for Oreo cheesecake bars, and I think you are going to love it. Now to get started, you'll want to preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and next you are going to need some Oreos. Now you'll need 40 Oreos total for this recipe, but we're going to start by making our crust, and for that you're just going to need 25. We're going to add 25 Oreos into the basin of a food processor. We're just going to pulse these until we have nice fine crumbs. So this is looking pretty good. We have nice fine crumbs. So now we can go on and add our butter. You'll need 4 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. And we're also going to add just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we'll pulse everything together again until it's completely combined. So this is looking pretty good. We have a mixture that looks a little bit wet and sandy. So this is going to be our Oreo crust. Let's pour this into the bottom of a 13x9 baking dish. Now I should mention that when making cheesecake bars, I really recommend lining the pan with foil before you begin. This actually is going to help the cheesecake from cracking when it comes out of the oven because the cheesecake will be able to shrink as it cools and pull that foil away from the edges. I'm actually out of foil today, so we are making it without, but if you have some, I definitely recommend using it. I'm just going to use the back of my spoon to flatten this cookie crumb layer until we have a nice even Oreo crust. Now we'll make our actual cheesecake batter. You are going to need 4 8-ounce bricks or a total of 32 ounces of cream cheese. Make sure this is the brick style cream cheese and not the spreadable kind that you buy in a tub. We're going to add these to a large bowl. And I should mention that you want your cream cheese to be softened to room temperature before you begin working with it. Along with the cream cheese, we'll add 1 cup of granulated sugar. And now you'll need an electric mixer, and you'll want to beat together the cream cheese and the sugar until everything is smooth and nicely combined. The next thing you'll need is 3/4 cup of sour cream. Sour cream adds such a great depth of flavor to cheesecake. I love using it. Let's stir in the sour cream until everything is nicely combined again. You will want to pause to scrape the sides and bottom of this bowl because you want to make sure that everything is getting nicely combined. You don't want to have any lumps of cream cheese hiding anywhere in your batter. Next, we'll be adding 4 large eggs. Now, ideally, these should be at room temperature. We're going to add the eggs one at a time, stirring until just combined after each addition. Once your eggs are combined, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We'll stir this in. And then we'll scrape the sides and bottom of our bowl again and give it one more quick stir. Our Oreo cheesecake batter is almost finished, but we still need to add more Oreos, of course. Now you should have 15 Oreos left. What we're going to do is just put them in a plastic bag, and we're gonna whack them a couple of times with a rolling pin until they're nicely broken up. Now you don't want to completely pulverize these Oreos. You want to have distinct, discernible Oreo pieces in your Oreo cheesecake bars, so don't go overboard here. These are looking pretty good. I'm just going to break them up a little bit more with my hands. And now we'll just use our spatula to stir them in by hand into our cheesecake batter. We'll pour this batter into our prepared Oreo crust. Our Oreo cheesecake bars are pretty much ready to bake at this point, but for an extra finishing touch, I like to grab a couple extra Oreos and just crumble them over the top of the batter. Let's take these cheesecake bars over to our 325-degree Fahrenheit preheated oven, where they will need to bake for about 35 to 40 minutes or until the center is set. You can tell this cheesecake is finished because if you lightly jiggle the pan, the center will jiggle, but it won't be watery. As you can see, if I touch the surface of it, it springs back. This cheesecake is finished baking. So now what you want to do is you want to let this cheesecake or these Oreo cheesecake bars cool down to room temperature. We're going to leave them out of the fridge. If you have a warm spot, you can leave them. That'll help them cool more slowly, help prevent cracks. Though I'm a little worried about this one because we didn't line the pan with foil. But you're just going to want to let it sit at room temperature for an hour or so. Once it's cooled to room temperature, you'll transfer these to your refrigerator where they're going to need to chill for at least 6 hours. I like to let mine chill overnight. Well, as I feared, we do have some cracks in our cheesecake, but since these are bars, they're really not a big deal and they're not going to affect the taste of your cheesecake. Just learn from my mistakes or lack of preparedness and use foil when making your cheesecake bars. Still, like I said, they're going to be delicious, so let's go ahead and dig in. And that is how you make Oreo cheesecake bars at home. I hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe, and if you try it out, please let me know what you think. I always love hearing from you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. These are one of my favorites on the whole blog. You've got to try this.